Hello, Capricorn. How's everybody doing today? Really great to see everybody from so many different parts of the world. Welcome. I hope you're ready for a fantastic flow of messages coming through because that's what I've been receiving for the past hour or so. I can't wait to share it with you. Let me just introduce myself first and foremost. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This little sleepyhead here is my dog, Apollo. And what we're going to be looking at today is Capricorn. You can always use this for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus. If you want to watch on behalf of someone else that you love, you can also do that. The beginning portion of what I do here can also be really relevant to anybody that shows up because I channel messages in real time. So if you're watching it now, if you're watching it later, these messages are for you. I separate this into a few distinct parts, so let me just talk about that and then we'll get started. I begin with channeled messages that I get from dreams and meditations, and also the act of automatic writing. The next part is the Celtic Cross, which allows us to dig a little bit deeper into opportunities, potential challenges in the month ahead. And I always let that take on whatever flavor it wants to. And then I will go a little bit deeper into areas of health, wealth, love, and destiny after that. And then we will look at the soul path, which is a chance to kind of look at one or two of these areas in particular. And then we will meditate, and I take a final question at the end that you will silently give me. I'm going to put Apollo down. He's clearly still waking up from his nap, but cutie pie. Let's begin here. Okay, so first of all, let me put some information here in case any of you want some more information about past or present videos that I've done or how to follow me, etc. Here is a quick little pinned comment with some links to my website. So if you ever want to find out more, you can take a look at that. And also, if you haven't yet liked or subscribed, please consider doing that. Or if after you've watched it for a while, you enjoy it, know that this helps a lot. First of all, if you're new here, who knows how the algorithm works? So you want to subscribe to make sure that you can find me again. Also, the simple act of hitting the thumbs up button and later commenting with this video or sharing it helps with discovery. So if you ever wondered why creators talk about that so much, it's not so that we're going to be annoying. It's actually so that we can continue to reach a wider audience. So I just want to say thanks to everybody who's helped with that so far. It really means a lot. Let's see here. A couple of quick notes. If you'd like to show support while I'm doing the live reading today, you can use a feature called Super Chat or Super Stickers. I don't answer questions live because this is a general reading, but this is a great way to show support for all of the decks that I purchase and all of the supplies that I use. I don't have any sponsors. I rely on fan support. So again, you watching the videos and you sometimes giving back, it allows me to keep showing up. So you can just click on this, say something nice if you like to, and it means a lot. And I definitely see all of that later. I look at all the comments. You can also become a supporting channel member. Everyone with green text right now, thank you so much. I see you, and I really do appreciate all of you that come back, not just for your 2 or 3 videos per month, but there's a bunch of people that show up every day. So thank you so much. You can click join. You can start or stop the membership anytime you'd like. There's also an applaud button here on replay if you'd like. And you can become a Patreon patron. And I'm doing special video, trying to do one a month if I can for all of the channel members, where I will take feedback. I'm going to be doing one next week, next Thursday on retrograde, because we have one coming up at the end of this month. So I will periodically do Q&As. I'm trying to do it every month if I can, where I ask a question and I take feedback or questions from you. And that's how you can get in touch with me if you like. All right, that's it. Let's talk. By the way, Maria is my moderator today. So if there's any high-level questions, she can answer that as well. I'm going to shut the window here that I have open just in case there's city sound. So let me do that, and then let's get started. All right. Thank you for being patient. All right, so today we'll be beginning with your spirit totem. Every day I like to start with something from nature or the elements because it helps me tune into your sign. And I think it's fun to have something besides just, tarot. This is, I work with different modalities, dreams, nature, and then also the cards. So today the energy that came through was waterfall, which to me is just majestic, beautiful, and really, really powerful. I think a very auspicious symbol for you, Capricorn. And whenever you look at the pictures of a waterfall, it's just amazing kind of how just how everything can kind of like build up and all of a sudden there's this drop off. I think it's amazing. So let's relate it to what's going on with you today. And then let's get into the other messages that came through my dreams. So waterfall is your totem. And right off the top of my head, as I was tuning into it, I loved the energy of momentum, release, renewal. There's also kind of like creation / destruction energy, death and rebirth that comes with this as well. Phoenix sort of rising from the ashes. Because sometimes you do have to take something and pull it apart or rebuild it, like Tower Reversed. And you're stronger usually for that exercise in rebuilding. So all of that comes through with the energy of waterfall. So right now, the first thing that I picked up on for you is patience. So maybe like the temperance card here, but temperance reversed. Some of you may feel like you've hit a plateau in your life, but you're actually a lot closer to your goal or to the next step than you may think. And until it's almost too late with the waterfall, you don't see that it's coming. Once the rapids start to pick up, you're getting pulled into that waterfall. So some of you are just a little bit back from that where the water is still calm. And you're thinking, I've been paddling this boat. Why am I not further towards my goal that I have in my life for love, for career, for myself? And the answer is patience. You are. And typically when something like this happens, it's fast. So this is also kind of like a star moment too, where things just all of a sudden there's visibility for you. So I would say be patient, be persistent, be prepared, which we'll talk about in a second, because all of those things are going to be really important for you. Once the momentum builds, as I was saying, things will get easier, but they will also be moving faster. So this is where you need to have all your ducks in a row. We're using a lot of water metaphors today. Have everything ready. Have your plan B, plan C, have all these things sort of together. So that maybe even for some of you, you might have to make a quick adjustment so that you can avert that. Waterfalls are fun, but you don't always want to go straight down it. So if you're seeing something and it's an avoidable to me kind of like block, you could just decide, oh, let's go this way, or let's try this, or let's take a break here and assess the risk or whatever's in front of us. So being aware, being awake, and trusting that the movement, that the fruition is finally going to happen here, you're going to be able to course correct in real time rather than going over the waterfall and so you have to stay awake, you have to trust and know that the movement is happening, okay? Capricorn, you're such a planning oriented sign. I have Capricorn in my ascendant, so I understand that. Part of the reason I'm doing all these cards is because I have that in my sort of business side. So once you've planned, you can manage it. So even if something happens, trust that you've done the legwork, trust that you've done the research, and you'll just be able to kind of, in that moment, if you have to quote unquote wing it, you can do it. That's one moment where with the preparation, you can do it, okay? Now, there are some things this month which you can't plan for or you can't hold on to. So when it comes to emotions in particular, or if there's this old thought that you might be holding on to, really the waterfall is trying to push you past that. And just like a dam breaking, for instance, sometimes there's too much energy and it's going to just push through. So for you, I feel that there could be something where it's kind of been like a buildup for a long time and you think, gosh, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Maybe you've been doing the work of other people. Maybe you've been holding up all the weight in a relationship. It feels like to me like there would be a lot of something that you're holding or carrying. And at this point, the universe is saying, enough, right? Like I have to let it go because I'm also holding myself back by trying to keep all of this together to plug the dam, even though we're working with the waterfall. So the waterfall wants to naturally just be a release. So if there's something that you need to release, by all means do it. This could mean that you are more open to talking to a therapist than you normally would be. Could mean that you're feeling a lot more creative and you're going to channel that. So some of the best music and art out there comes post breakup or, like in the wake of sometimes even tragedy or challenges, because it's raw, it's real, it's unedited, it's relatable. So you can also take all of that and put it into a format that people can understand. And it also helps you, right? Have you ever noticed that when, if you are an artist, when you channel, it's cathartic, right? You can even rewrite your story to a degree. And the fictional version can do something that maybe you couldn't, but you're also learning how to do it because you're taking the journey with them, which is why we like music and movies and books so much, because it gives us a chance to grow and to take that trip with someone else. So for many of you, that's what I see is that I've had enough. I just have to let this out, let this go and move forward. So if you do get one of those muses that visit you and you have this creative flow, I put here, strike while the iron is hot. If that doesn't make sense, it's basically saying take advantage of the energy when it happens, because sometimes those floodgates will then not be so open. You can always access creativity if you're an artist, but sometimes there's a lot of it. And if you're in that flow, put other things on the side and finish that. Let it happen, okay? For the rest of you, there's just this big growth spurt, which is a common thread that I've been seeing in other signs. It comes through differently for each sign, but what I do see is a punctuated window that keeps opening. Every sign, it's a little bit different. For you, there's this flow of energy that's coming through. For some people, it can be an opportunity that's opening up or a person that's coming in. For you, it's something you can harness, almost like the chariot energy, but it's a matter of trying to harness as much as you can and then letting it also take you, because those horses want to bring you in a certain direction. So that's what's coming through, Capricorn, for you. I want you to try to just let things happen. Again, whether you're very pragmatic or very creative, it's important not to edit while you're in the flow, because you're going to have plenty of time to do that later. There'll be plenty of people that can weigh in and tell you their 2 cents worth afterwards. So let things channel through you first. Then you can go to your practical side and try to organize them. Channeling works that way. There's a reason that I put all the cards on the table like this. It's because I can move them around. So I'll get ideas and then I'm like, oh, that should go here. This should go here. So it gives me a chance. This is so old school. Back when I was in high school and even college, they were still forcing us to use traditional methods like this, even though I was one of the early adopters of like computers. But they wanted to see that you did the work. And lo and behold, it was actually something that stuck with me. And I see the value now because it's the old school nonlinear. But basically, you've got to channel stuff, and it helps to see stuff like this, because when you get all of these ideas, you're not sure how they're going to flow. So just record them. When I have dreams at night, I tap them into my phone real quick and then go back to sleep and hope that I can make sense of the sort of like random threads that I have in the evening. So then I'll take that and put them on cards, and I take the cards and I arrange them. And then usually one thing is predominant, and that's your totem. So that's kind of like, if you're a channeler, you don't always get it chronologically. You get it very sporadically in like a patch quilt that you're going to have to put together. So just allow yourself to receive things when you get them and then do something with it. Okay. Record. Next thing. Oh yeah. Don't mute yourself either. I feel like if there are things that you need to say or do, you have to do them this month. So holding back won't be very effective. It could actually be sort of like a pressure cooker. If you've ever seen one of those things, they have like a little valve on the top. But if you were to push that down too much, the whole pot would blow. You need something to allow for a release of energy. So you're kind of like that pressure cooker, and you have to figure out when you're going to allow for the release. And if you don't, then it could be a blow up or something like a 10 of swords moment, which we don't want. Didn't show up in my dreams or meditation, but I'm getting the pressure cooker sort of images we're talking about this. If others attempt to hold you back, it's time to let them go and focus on something that's much more reciprocating of your energy. The other thing here with movement and growth is the whole sort of general focus for you. So it's kind of like a seed that's pushing up. I just feel like there's got to be a breakout moment for you. So people can try to hold you down. It's not going to work. And ultimately, if they are, I think you're encouraged right now to do what you need to do to be free, to spread your wings. So sometimes it's hard though, because we get very practical, saying, well, this is secure. This is what's expected. What do I do if I don't do this? Start to think about it. Create a plan B. It doesn't have to be an action that happens like tomorrow. You could decide, all right, I'm going to stay with this for 15 months, for 24 months, for like 2 years, but get that plan B ready so that you can make it happen. As I said, they're both destructive, waterfalls, and creative. It reminds me a lot of Judgement in tarot. And a single decision or thought can actually be that creative or destructive force. So have you ever had something happen in your life where once you say something, you can't put the words back, right? So it's the same as if someone declares to you that they love you, or that they want to break up, or that you're fired, or whatever. Once the words are said, this big chain of events starts to happen because of 2 or 3 words, right? or a few thoughts in your head, like I can't do this, or I need help, or that's what I want. I'm going to do this. This is awesome. Whatever you're putting out there, broadcasting, it's calling in like backward domino, sort of tiles, new events. So think a new destiny if you want to. If you don't like what's going on now, you are an author, you are a creator. So start to create something stronger and better. To that end, you are unstoppable if you believe you are, but you have to believe it. Like magic, it only works if you believe it. When you look at leaders that truly kind of have that sort of gusto, what you'll notice is they don't really have room for doubt. And if there's anyone in their ranks that doesn't believe that, they kind of push that person aside and they're like, no, this is how we're going to do it. But there is a belief, there's an energy. They're pulling from their solar plexus and it's kind of broadcasting everywhere. So you're like the sun this month if you want to be really capable of making things happen. Finally, and this is really important to both spirituality and creativity, surrender to that divine flow and move into a new season of abundance. I feel like there's a lot of growth and a lot of movement. And I think I've said it a lot of different ways this morning, but hopefully that's coming through. Breakthrough, letting go, release, momentum, renewal, creation. This is you, Capricorn, if you're ready. I hope you are, because I think it's a good time. I think we're all ready for it. There's been a lot of buildup over the course of the last year. And I think this is the energy that I've been picking up on in 2022 through 2026 even. But I think there's like a 2 to 4 year period of growth that's really going to kick off next year. But if you start making it happen now, you're going to be ready for it. This year is the cleanup year. And we're going to talk a little bit about cleaning up here in a second because that came through for you as well. All right, so that's your main totem, waterfall. Movement, power, speed, momentum, a little bit of deception sometimes because you're not aware of it until it's happening. So if you start to give up on something or you think, oh, it's never going to happen, then all of a sudden it's here and you're not ready. So I want you to be ready, okay? Next thing I saw, this was in dreams, was it reminded me of like when I used to work as a high schooler, like in a restaurant. You would have to keep things clean as the night was going. So you would constantly be like bussing tables. They would be doing dishes. You would be resetting all of the sort of, there was a station that you would have with I would have to fold napkins and put, clean glasses out and everything and kind of create setups for the waiters until I became one, waitresses. But there was this constant, I was very aware of it because I was the mover and the doer. If you let things get behind, we couldn't clean the tables to seat the new people. And if the kitchen wasn't cleaning the dishes, then we wouldn't have the dishes to put the food on. If the food was late, then we wouldn't be able to feed it. So there's a process going on. And what I saw was if you rush too much, one of those pieces of the production line gets lost. And I saw a mess building up behind you. Literally, it looked like to me trash and debris. Now, this could be a lot like, sometimes I reference the movie Christmas Carol because one of my teachers made me read the book and watch every possible version of it. So I know it very well. But we see like Marley with all those chains behind him, right? So sometimes we create these messy kind of strings attached sort of things behind us, like chains or a mess or things that we haven't finished. And I feel like this is kind of karmic baggage for some of you. And also you could be taking messy shortcuts that are going to actually require more work later. So it would be best to take your time right now and do it right the first time. That's really what all of this is about. Do it right the first time and then mindfully look around you and think, okay, I need to also do this. I have to like pay the bills. I have to take out the trash. I have to take a shower. Like there's a lot of mundane things that we have to do as human beings. You can't just, this made me laugh. I'll share it with you. I think someone had a problem with some sort of a booking of an appointment or something. And I called them. I said, yeah, this is when it is. She said, oh, I thought you would just be meditating right now. And I'm like, no, I run a business. I have to like answer emails, pay bills, run errands. I have a life like everyone else does. And it requires work. And I have to, it's the Capricorn side, right? We have to go there and take care of business. So take care of business this month, including taxes, doctor's appointments, all that mundane stuff, because you don't want it to build up in the background. It'll get annoying if you do. Okay. Meditate as well, but you can't just meditate. That's something that I've said before. Meditation is good. I do it a lot, but you can't just meditate. You have to also take action on what you're thinking of, like in the Two of Wands moment. Otherwise, yeah, it's overwhelming. It's the same thing as cleaning your house. We've all been there, where it just sort of gets behind, you get behind on something. So my advice with that is just to pick a room or an area of the room and just sort of, I'll do this, then I'll do this, then I'll do this. And then pretty soon the room is clean. If you look at the whole thing, you just get overwhelmed. So pick a few tasks every day, stay on track, you're going to be all right. Yeah, and like I said, finances are definitely a part of this. So there you go. Clean up as you work, and then you're going to be okay. All right, next piece is I saw someone falling asleep while they were working, and kind of like you can imagine asleep at the wheel, but I didn't necessarily see them driving. I saw them in an office setting. This can apply to any aspect of your life, and we'll talk about that. If you see someone that's not doing their part in whatever it is, like a relationship, they're snoozing and they're not really putting forth the same energy that you are. If there's a friendship and you're constantly the one that's calling, planning, nagging that person to hang out, and you let it go and they don't do anything, this is a sign. This is saying that that person is not really present. It's like 4 of Swords or 6 of Swords energy. They're either pulling back or they're not investing. So if that's happening, don't invest back. That's an empty investment of time and energy, right? There's no return. There's no reciprocation. If you are the one who is disengaged, bored, not somehow feeling the fire of whatever that you're doing in your life, then you need to recalibrate because others are noticing. If I could see it, others could see it. So this could be a job that you no longer feel like you are interested in, because sometimes we accomplish what we set out to do. We may study to be like a nurse, and after 10 or 15 years of being an RN, you think, this is really exhausting. I've done everything I can. I've helped a lot of people. Now I need to do something, or I need to give back in a different way. That's okay. You've done your sort of karmic duty, if you want to see it as that. Maybe you wanted to repay. Maybe you had a lot of people that you helped before and they came through as patients. You repaid the karma, and you also learned the power of service. It's okay. So you can do a pivot in your career and say, now I want to teach. Now I want to do this. Maybe I want to be an artist. Whatever it is that you want to do, it's always okay to decide. I did the same thing, 15 years of doing one career path. And then I thought, yeah, I've not only learned everything that I wanted to, but I'm no longer interested in doing this anymore. So I wanted to focus on what I'm doing now. I wanted to try something different. So it's natural to take pivots. And if you're bored, don't feel guilty. Just feel empowered to take action and make a new plan. If you are someone who does something with machinery, whether you're driving or operating machinery, or you're doing something where your sort of boredom or sleepiness or lack of attention to detail could result in injury, it's even more important to take care of yourself for your own health and also for others, and probably to find a safer and more engaging job in the long run. I know we don't always have choices immediately on what we can do with our career. As sometimes there's not a lot of jobs available, but start to open up channels, whether it's through training, mentorship, talking to people, to try to find a way where it's more satisfactory, it's more exciting. And then if you're feeling like you're not getting reciprocation, like I said earlier, if you're working really hard and the payment isn't there, the accolades aren't there, etc., this is about speaking up, and this is the next piece that we're going to talk about. All right. So take pride in who you are and what you do. It will help with the self-worth and the net worth. If you believe you're worth it and truly put it out there, others will see and believe that. Now, if you have a boss that is just stingy, or if you have a partner that just wants to see how much they can get from you, that's the first step, but there are some people that are kind of like callous or not receptive. So this is step one in getting that sort of net worth up there. If the person that's immediately around you has like this kind of like this, it's like a shield where they're not receiving, I would say then it's time to move on. It's time to look beyond that person. Maybe you're not talking to the right person. I often like to remind you that if it's not the person that can make the decision, then you're not dealing with the right conduit. So you could find someone else to talk to instead. The important thing here also is to express your needs, dreams, and expectations. Sometimes people don't know. So if you start to work on self-confidence, if you start to work on communication, and there's still no result, that's a clear litmus test and a clear sign that whatever it is that you're kind of engaging in is not the right thing. Finally, if you're working on manifestation, going back to the waterfall metaphor that we talked about, release and trust that your intention has been received, and then let it go. Because part of creation is also release, or just like, you know, you're not destroying it, you're just letting it go. So there's this kind of ebb and flow between creating, releasing, brainstorming, letting it go again. And I would say constantly then zigzag and look at something else that you could be working on, rather than fixating, rather than sort of like the Four of Pentacles where you're holding on. I think if you do this, you're going to be in a great place for the month ahead. With the energy of the waterfall behind you, I feel like there's nothing that you can do but move forward and see progress. So let's take a look at the cards and see how that's going to play out for you. Okay. Welcome everyone. If you just joined, just a reminder, I see a lot of questions coming through. So remember that this is general reading. Like I said earlier, there are chances to give back and sort of like ask questions, but those are typically one reading a month. That'll be my retrograde specific one next month. So just hold those for those types of readings. But you can show support, like I said, through Super Chat. And yeah, we're going to get into the reading right now. Okay. And yeah, I see someone talking about the picture. Sometimes you just need to refresh. I'm not seeing a lot of other people talking about it. And usually I get a warning saying that the connection's weak. I'm not seeing that. So just do a refresh and it should be okay. I'm going to shuffle the cards now, and I'll be right back afterwards to talk about how this could relate to all of you. So thank you for your patience and welcome everybody. Again, Sun, Rising, Moon, Venus, also on behalf of others. And if you're not sure of all your placements, just stick around because messages will come through for everyone present. I also do this 6 to 8 weeks in advance. So some of the things will resonate now, and I really create this as a sort of toolkit for you. So check back next month. We're reading for the month of June, but I'm reading it in July. So you have a heads up and an ability to basically take action on that. So I will put chapters in towards the end of the day. It takes me up to 12 hours to do all of the post-production. So come back later and you'll be able to jump directly to all the different chapters in the video. All right, let me focus now on the cards and the messages. Ha, we got the waterfall. Very cool. All right. Thanks so much to those of you that are giving super stickers too. I appreciate you guys. Some beautiful, beautiful cards coming through for you. Very positive ones too. And we have the Angel of Death there, transformation, which is really beautiful as well. It is coming through in wealth and work, so we'll talk about it. We also see the Phoenix on his chest, which I was talking about. It's nice when there's synchronicities with the cards. Okay. Let's get these arranged so you can see them, and let's talk about all the messages that came through for you. Beautiful messages. Okay, so your catalyst this month is the Hunter. Track down your fears and desires. I talked a little bit about this yesterday with Sagittarius. It's actually like among some of the final messages in the channeled message that I was talking about, which is that you're stronger now, you're more prepared now. You're capable of doing what you need to do. So a lot of times when I read two signs right next to each other, there's overflow of energy. So there's a little bit of that with this. And we kind of have a little bit of Sagittarian. Some of you might have a placement in your chart because we have the Archer here as well. What I like with Archers or with any sort of like bow and arrow type metaphor is that it is about having the focus, right? You need to see where you want that arrow to go before you pull back the bow. So I would say for you, knowing what your purpose is, what the end goal is right now is going to be really important. And if I show you the center card, it's spot on. We have it reversed, but I'm going to pull it upright. So we have the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands is the first step towards manifestation. You must know where you're going in order to channel the energy to go. So I really like the way that this is kind of connected here. So know your direction, stick with it, be strong. And the fact that this is a hunter is also indicating that you are the one taking the initiative. I know people don't always like that when I say, hey, you're going to have to do something, but you are going to have to be the one that picks up that thread of communication, like picking up the phone, sending an email. You might be the one that takes the first step towards, just getting someone to do something. There's leadership with this particular hunter. Okay. Really cool card, nice picture, great energy for this. Okay, I like this as your initial one. A catalyst helps you stay on path, helps you avoid pitfalls, and it's what creates change, which is why I named it catalyst, right? Because a catalyst is something that affects a reaction. So track down your fears and desires and deal with them, and then focus on what really is important. So this is also about cleaning up the mess as you go along. This guy can handle it. He's saying, not today, not this, not that, that. Right? So redirecting as needed. Now we have a really cosmic Two of Wands. How cool is it that this is sort of like a portal looking out into space? Maybe it's a castle turret, or maybe this person's on another planet, who knows? Because we see Earth there in the distance. So what I like about this, normally you would see a person holding the globe or a crystal ball, but in this one, it's actually like your higher self looking down on where you're at and then reconnecting you, I think, with your purpose. A little bit of magician energy here too, as above, so below. So like I said, you are the channel. The magician is a channel. Don't lose track of that. We had the archer just a second ago. Now we have this visionary card, but the Two of Wands needs to be upright, not reversed. So this could be you second guessing. Can I do it? Will I do it? Is it happening? Am I deserving of it? Will they like me? Let's wash out all of that. Let's erase all of that and say, I'm doing this. I'm ready. I will find the people that are interested in this. And there's no way that I'm not going to do this, because I was sent to this planet for this express purpose. Ergo, it will happen. So be very strong and very kind of resolute in what it is that you're trying to do, so that you can really harness that energy. Okay. We have the Page of Pentacles on top of this. This is so cool because we see them using kind of like an old school SLR camera here, but see all the pentacles around it. And it kind of reminds me, this could be like the 10 of Pentacles or the 8 of Pentacles. There's a lot of work, but you have to picture it. So part of this particular page is, like I said, there's the archer here, seeing where you're going and then creating the work, creating the sort of making it happen, all of the sort of like actions that are necessary. Also for pages, it's about communication. Can you convey what you're trying to say, possibly with visuals instead? Sometimes that's much easier. If you've ever wondered why I use all those little emojis when I do the recap, they're kind of like the modern hieroglyphs, right? And that's why I see people using emojis here. You can say a lot more with a picture sometimes than, tons and tons of words, or you can enhance a message with a picture first. The Egyptians were onto something. I think the combination of letters and pictures are pretty amazing. So sometimes just a simple emoji can say so much. So think about ways that you can show. It can be in nonverbal communication. It can also be like this. Part of the reason we like tarot cards is it relays the energy in a very easy and concise, because I'm using basically like glyphs, hieroglyphs, and pictures to convey deep messages. So it's working here. Why wouldn't it work in your real life, right? Okay, enough said there. We want to make sure also, one last thing, this person's really got like horse blinders on. In this case, instead of it's a, like a telephoto lens. I feel like you could have too much of that macro view of something in front of you. We need the wide angle view as well this month. So you've got to go between the two. Occasionally go to the wide angle so you can see what's around you, a little bit even further back if you've ever looked at it, because it's kind of like a fisheye. And then you'll also want to keep a focus on that too. So you're going to oscillate between the two, which is also why we have the two focal points here. Big purpose, and then what's right in front of you. The world and the moment. Okay, if you do that, you're going to be fine. But if you just do one, you're going to lose it. If you're just focused on the end result, but you're not paying attention to what people are saying and doing around you, If you're just paying attention to them and you lose track of that, But if you keep a connection between the two, you're going to be able to easily move forward like the waterfall, okay? We have the Eight of Wands, deep past, and I love that we have bees and flowers here. It looks like snapdragons. So let me pull it really close so you can see it. So we've got the lovely bees, and I'm pretty sure these are snapdragons, and we have a hummingbird. Every day on my walks, if you ever watch my Instagram stories, I see bees everywhere, especially in the springtime here in Los Angeles. So I love them because they are great, energetic, and high frequency insects. They're moving things constantly. So in this sort of energy of waterfall, which we're going to talk about right after this, the bees are very, very much a part of that. And they're, to me, a symbol of fertility and abundance, because as they go from flower to flower, sometimes you can even see them picking up some of the pollen in their legs, but they're basically allowing things to seed. So it is that sort of energy of rebirth that we would see in Judgment, which I talked about, and we see here with Azrael. So great synchronicities with that, and the hummingbird is amazing. Whenever I'm having a bad day, and I see a hummingbird, that is the universe saying, raise your frequency, things are fine, it's going to work out okay. So if I see a hummingbird or a ladybug, for me, both of those are symbols that I'm worrying about nothing, that it'll be okay. So the fact that we're picking up on that for you, plus we have the pollinization energy of the bees, tells me you're doing some good stuff. Eight of Wands in and of itself is also a fantastic card for abundance and activity and movement, so I like it. The only thing that I'm seeing here is there's a lot going on. There's a lot of bees in this in this picture, and there's a little bit of competition for some of you that you have to deal with. So make sure that you don't get lost in the shuffle. This is why I also don't want you to edit yourself, okay? With the card reversed, you can make some smarter choices, is what I would say. So if you take back a little bit of what you're putting out there, then you get to the Six of Wands, which is success, or you get to the Ten of Wands, which is you either need to add a lot more or take back a little bit so that you can refocus and finish. Because I just see the wheel moving here. So either push a little bit more, rest a little bit, and reset one way or the other, and you're going to be okay. Now we get to your totem here, which is the Eight of Cups. And what a beautiful Eight of Cups this is. All right, so instead of having 8 normal cups, we kind of see these little waterfalls that are showing all the little plateaus. So here you go, Sagittarius, not Sagittarius, here you go, Capricorn. Here's your, we were talking about the archer there a second ago. So Capricorn, this is what we were talking about with the Eight of Cups. So with Eight of Cups, some really important messages coming through with this. First and foremost, Eight of Cups is cycles in your life, right? And this one is a new cycle to me. This represents the old for you up here, and this is new. And we're actually looking at it at the new portion. And this particular Eight of Cups is showing me that for you, Capricorn, there really isn't a need to go back. It feels like you're kind of keeping the window open for some reason, but you don't need to. I feel like with Eight of Cups, it's so interesting. Sometimes we feel like it's hard to let go. So we will maybe on purpose sometimes just try to kind of maybe not have the closure that we need. And we definitely talked about this with the previous sign. So for you, again, a little bit of overflow. And what I would say for you is you have a chance right now, as we're watching it live and as you're going through Mercury retrograde, to close an old chapter and really allow for this new chapter to come through and for it to be easier. The cool thing here is now it's not as scary as the change. The change is going down the waterfall. Now you're just getting fed energy from up above, and it's a little bit more peaceful when you're on this side of the waterfall. So if you can commit to what it is that you want to create right now, sometimes just the idea of like letting go and the commitment, that's everything else starts to get easier after that. So yeah, I'm excited for you. Also, this is showing me you've got great power between the Eight of Wands and the Eight of Cups. For business folk, this means predictable business. This means people that will come back, but it sometimes is after a long period of time. So you have a little bit of both. So for instance, if you are someone that does something unique, but it's maybe like you're an interior decorator, for instance, people aren't going to come to you every month. They would come to you maybe once a year or every couple years or whenever they move, but there'll be good word of mouth and there'll be return business. This is someone who cuts hair or who grooms dogs or who does something that requires frequent, or maybe, again, it's a restaurateur or something. People are going to need food. They're going to need their haircut. They're going to need their nails painted or whatever, and they're going to come back because that's a repetitive cycle. This one has a little bit more distance between the returns, but you have 2 returns. So what I feel for you this month is that there's going to be some decisions between how to navigate. Some of this everyday busyness could get in the way of maybe a pivotal return client or return person in your life that, like, it could even be a friend that only is able to come to your city, state, country, province, every few years. You want to make some time and space for them. And then the everyday people, you could say, let's reschedule for next week. There's a choice here between how frequent something is. This is also that, like I said, if you're capable of tapping into something, do it, because it will come back, but we don't know when. This one, we know when, okay? So maybe that can help you make a decision of how to organize your time. If the person, place, or thing is something like Halley's Comet, where it's only going to come around every so often, get outside, get your telescope and watch it. If it's, the sun rising and setting, you're going to have tomorrow to look at that, okay? Does that help? I hope it does. This is also a cyclical relationship. So I'm going to look forward here. I'm not seeing, you're going to have to make a decision on this, but yes, with someone in your life that's 8 of Cups, this could be someone who's not committing, but they're really happy with just being in the relationship. So it's after the phase of 2 of Cups, 3 of Cups, dating, getting to know each other. It's long before the maybe like 4 of Wands, lovers, or Ace of Pentacles, let's get married. And it's just sort of like the in-between. It's the plateau. Like, I'm happy with what I have, but I'm not sure if I want something more. So what you have to figure out is, do you want to set your intention, talk about what's next? Do you want to give a hint? Are you happy with what you're receiving? Because what I'm seeing is no movement there. So we'll look at that when I kind of look in relationships, but this can also have to do with jobs and other friendships in your life. It just feels like there's a plateau this month. Capricorn, and your challenge is going to be breaking through that plateau. Like in exercising, for instance, if you do the same exercises every day for like 6 months, at a certain point, the body just maintains because it's not challenged. So you have to change up the routine, and it kind of shocks it into getting more fit. Okay. We have the Knight of Swords, crowning card, taking action. Amen to that. Everything that we've been talking about here comes through with that. Look at how the Knight is taking that sword and cutting through the clouds, finding the silver lining, creating a silver lining. In your communications this month, it's going to be so important to be able to see a better narrative or create some sort of a better story out of something that could be otherwise gloom and doom. So you're going to find a way to find the sunny side of this story and convey it to inspire other people. Your words can definitely lift up, okay? So there you go. And for those of you that are writers, painters, public speakers, or use communication in marketing or PR to make a living, you've got some powerful opportunities this month coming through to reimagine something. I feel like some people around you are stuck in the fog. So you're like, no, let's cut through that. Look at this. This is the big purpose. The interesting thing is you're coming through as a knight. So sometimes you may not be as senior, as experienced as someone else, but you definitely have the soul experience, you have the knowledge, and this could be a big step up opportunity for you as well. All right. I like this card in general because it's upright and it's nothing but positive. I can't pick a negative connotation right now for this in its placement. It's in the future, near future. So with respect to relationships, this is good. This is a spark between you and someone else, especially if it's new. For your cognitive ability, this is good. This is ideation. This is fertility. So like this great like abundance coming through. For just life in general, this is also vitality. So everything about this card is pretty good in the near future. I think that what you want to do is continue to cut through maybe some of the people's negativity around you, because this is the truth. This is the mirage. This is you taking that sort of energy and saying, no, let's cut through it. I want you to be able to see what I can see. That'll be your biggest challenge this month, Capricorn, is to sort of, can somebody envision your sort of like imagination, your vision? You've got to be able to convey it. So if you can do that, you're unstoppable. If you have problems with that, engage with someone that can help you with it, because I feel like there's a lot of great stuff that you're thinking about, and I really want you to be able to realize it, okay? Good. Three of Cups. So this is definitely, for some of you, this is symbolizing you, and this is what we're seeing in the recent past. So the Three of Cups can be a question mark in an existing relationship, a question mark of, is this what I signed up for? Is this person interested in me? Do I want to be committed in this relationship? Am I looking for something more? It's the questions that we all kind of go through in certain points. So you're going to have to answer those questions for yourself. But I feel like it will come to a close this month. You're not going to spend a lot of time on that because I have justice in the world. So for many of you, there is a question of commitment that's coming through. The Three of Cups, if you're not in a relationship, is very auspicious. That means new people are coming into your life. If you're single and happy and focusing on business, this is also auspicious because it shows that you have the ability to pull people in. It's a friendly social card, okay? The card is upright, very, very few negative things with it. The only thing that I would always kind of like highlight with the Three of Cups is you want to be careful about getting too much in the mix of others' opinions. It's not gossipy because it wasn't reversed, but sometimes if we listen too much to others, it can take us off our path. So this could be you soliciting too much feedback because you have a vision and everyone has an opinion. If you're doing a good job, you're going to get radically different opinions. So let's take an example here. If there's a musician and they're putting out really interesting music, if you go to their profile on like Amazon or something, they're probably going to have a lot of positives and they're going to have some negatives. If there's just someone and it's ho-hum and it's average, they may get a lot of positives, but they're not really, sometimes getting some negatives is good because you're making people think. Maybe they didn't want to hear that. That was a different sound. They weren't used to it. But those albums, 10 years in the future end up being those moments. It's like a watershed moment where you're like, yeah, that was the moment that person broke out. So don't water it down. Take enough feedback to be able to get where you need to be. Don't lose path of your map, your purpose, because you have something clear and pure that I want you to be able to protect, whether it's a vision for yourself, whether it's a project, whether it's an idea, whether it's just a sense of self. Others can give feedback, but it's just their opinion, right? And you're going to have to take it with their own filters in place, just like you can on an SLR, you can take off a lens and put on a new one. Everyone has different optics, right? So optics matter to a point, but not completely, right? And ultimately here, the energy this month is social, and it is about expansion, and it is about questioning. So if you're doing any and all of that, you're going to be okay. Nothing really bad with this. Only other thing that I would say is moderation is key. Because with the Three of Cups and the Eight of Cups, that's a lot of, and we were already talking about the waterfall energy. So just make sure that you're finding ways to ground yourself, to not overdo anything, and I think you're going to be all right. Now let's look at the environment. This is not so much you, but the people around you. We have the Queen of Pentacles. I love this card. She's truly a queen, being carried by others here, but the card is reversed. So with this, there is someone in your environment, could be family, could be friends, could be coworker, anyone around you, but they're taking a lot. They need a lot. They're, as we would say nowadays, they're very extra. They need a lot. So the question here is how much, how often, and for how long do you want to continue giving that much to that person? Because ultimately, this is still a reflection of your own aspect, which is, I'm ready to receive. I want to have the pineapple bananas and these lovely people carrying me around for a change. It's my turn. So make sure that you're giving to yourself as well. You want to also be the Queen of Pentacles because this is a very nurturing card. So it's a good time for you to go back to school, to go into some sort of a training or development course, to just give to yourself. When restrictions are limited or taken away, you can do something like a massage or something like that. This is a great example of taking the Queen of Pentacles energy and putting it within. There could also be an increased focus on finances, and in relationships, this could be a trigger point for some of you. The other person may want to take money, time, or energy and put it into something, and you may not agree with it because it's representing them and it seems more self-centered for them. So you're going to have to maybe negotiate how that's going to work, if that's going to work, okay? Ultimately, Queen of Pentacles is still a good card, but reversed is showing that there's something off a little bit with what others are taking or requiring. This is the decision card. It's upright, which means you haven't made the decision yet, and it's in the possibility space. So when we look at 8 of Cups meets 3 of Cups, that's the question. Like, we've been doing this for a while. Is this casual or is this the real thing? I've been working for you for a while. Do you want to hire me, or am I going to need to find gainful employment somewhere else? We've been roommates for a while. Are we still going to do this? Or, like whatever it's going to be, there's some sort of a question of, do I want to stay in the 8 of Cups energy, or do I want to go onto the other side of the waterfall and do something else? Okay. So a decision is at hand, not a necessarily good or bad decision. It's just a decision so that you can make better choices and kind of focus that, be the channel of energy, which I see that you can be. You're going to do what's right. The upright justice card tells me I don't have to tell you what to do. I just feel like the important thing here is her scales are completely balanced, okay? So the one thing that I can do to help you find your answer is, are you receiving what you're giving? Do you feel like this is worth the time and energy? Are you balanced? How do you feel around this person, place, or thing? Do you feel exhausted? Do you feel invigorated, like the Ace of Wands? If it's invigoration, awesome. Keep pushing towards that. If it's depletion, like Queen of Pentacles reversed, then you have some talking to do, okay? We have the World card here in your outcome. She's reversed, but it's still a really good card. And we have a lot of divine feminine energy this month, right? You have the Queen of Pentacles, the Justice card, and also the World card. And even the 2 of Wands had a slightly divine feminine energy to it. So I feel like the world is your oyster right now. You can decide whatever you want to, like, this is a good moment for you, and it's a breakout moment. But it's reversed, so it's saying you're holding back. Let's talk about the world. What is the world? It's a chance to expand knowledge, experience, etc. It's a chance to share that with others, broadcasting, blogging, vlogging, publishing, distribution, marketing, advertising. It's also a chance to see the bigger picture. So something this month is limiting the potential for growth. I want you not to limit that potential and to explore whatever it is that's bringing you towards the expansive energy of the world. The world is also the bookend in tarot. So we have the world at one end and we have the Fool at the other. The only thing that's missing here, like we need judgment, right? So you got justice, but I need judgment to get us to the world. So I feel like make the decision and really believe the decision, and you're going to be okay. Ultimately, these 2 cards in future and near future, they are not, you can't read anything negative with them, really. So trust your idea and go with it is what I'm seeing with this, okay? Good stuff upon you. Some of you may be in the middle of a separation, quitting a job, leaving a relationship. If you are, you made a good decision, because that expansive card at the end is saying, yeah, turn my world upside down, but I know what I'm doing and I'm ready for that. Also, some of you may have been dealing with someone who shared a secret, or there could be a third party involved in a relationship. And in this case, it's a very easy decision on what to do. And it feels like you're already there or nearly there. Okay, let's go ahead and expand this to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. And we'll get some additional insights. Okay, let's start with your health card. We have the Journey, which it's like a very different version of the 6 of Swords here. And because we see her kind of walking over the water, getting ready, and there's some choices here as well in which direction she should go. I like this, and I think for some of you, this is turning a new corner in your health, in your happiness, in your mental health, and also in your physical health. Maybe even spirituality, because we see the light coming through. There's a little bit of like hermit-like energy here too, because she's carrying a lantern. There's a lantern there, and it's a choice. So if you've had difficulties in your health, if you've had toxicity around you in relationships, this is about taking those delicate steps towards stability, towards happiness, towards healthiness. You're going to get there, or well-being rather. And I'm looking at the bottom. I like to always look at the details. We also see a little moth here as well. So transformation for sure. So we can see transformation and movement coming through for you. I like this card a lot. Okay. The card is reversed, so there's a little bit of hesitation with that. But let's drill into the tarot cards here and see if there's some additional messages for you. I'd already talked about just being mindful of not overdoing things. So enough said with that. Moderation is key. Also, when we look at a Pentacles card reversed, King or Queen, she's got a big banquet all around her. So just smarter choices in what you're consuming, food and drink, etc. You got pretty good cards this month, I have to say. Overall, I like what I see. I'm not getting a lot of negativity or things to focus on. So for you, I really feel like it's committing to something new, clearly committing to it, and then following through. So you're pulling back that arrow, you're kind of focusing on where it is, but then it's the release and like, all right, we're going to do this. So just decide. Now's the time to decide for something healthier and happier for you. You've got some good ideas coming through this month, so you owe it to yourself to do something with this. Pretty good. Health messages are pretty good. And one last thing as I'm looking at this, it takes time to make the next step. So what we see here is a delicate bridge. So when you're stepping into a new path in your life, it's always a little bumpy at the beginning. Sometimes you even fall off, but you want to keep getting back and keep moving forward. And so perseverance is key. And over time, you're going to have enough chances to do it right. All right. Let's move on to wealth, career, self-worth, all of that. We have change and transition with Archangel Azrael. And you're also seeing like a message of gratitude. Thank you for guiding me through this change. This is the journey. This is the change. Some of you also might be finding yourself in a place where you've lost a loved one or you're mourning the loss of something. This is in wealth. So that makes you look at what's valuable to you. You start to look at things differently. Okay, this is what I care about. This is not so important anymore. It's interesting the way that they drew this because I didn't see Azrael this way, but Zerachiel, who's another angel of transformation, looks a lot like this, came through with really dark hair and dark features, and this isn't far off, whoever illustrated it. What I like about this is Azrael is wearing the phoenix kind of tattoo there on his chest area. So this is your chance to come back from anything. So if there was a layoff, if there was if you were made redundant or something like that happened, you have a chance now to spread your wings. And I've been talking about this consistently this year, but rejection is just redirection. And so when we are cut off from a certain path or a certain thing, it's really this kind of angelic energy coming through and saying this way, not that way. And if you don't listen, then they just cut off that way, this way. And they're like, no, that way. You have no choice now. I would encourage you not to repeat the same old. So when a certain job, career, relationship cycle keeps repeating, you're like, why do I keep finding someone in my life, a partner that does this, or this? Why am I always this kind of employee? Why do I always find friendships that do this, and this? You're not going to do it this time. You're going to take a pivot to the right or to the left. You're going to try something different, okay? Because this is all about change. Notice that it doesn't say death. It says change and transition, even though this is the angel of transformation here. So sometimes an end is a beginning, and it's a chance to do better than before. Thus, the phoenix on his chest, okay? Might be time to leave a job, an experience, a relationship. Might be time to fight for yourself. This could also be legal action. If someone has wrongfully denied you proper wages or compensation, or has expressed bias due to some sort of, like whether it's ageism, sexism, racism, homophobia, whatever it is, definitely take up justice and explore that. This could also just be bringing to light someone's lack of knowledge about some of these things. So anyway, change is there and change is good. And ultimately, if we look at these two cards again, we have something better. You're going to feel a lot better once you've made this change happen. So yeah, I just see change. Time to step up, step out, move on, somehow expand. And the person that can help you possibly is someone that isn't necessarily your boss. It could be like this Queen of Pentacles a very kind of maternal energy, but they will, I get this feeling that they'll sort of want to know like what's in this for me. So you might have to figure out if there is an exchange. You definitely should always be paying for services rendered, but like there may be something else that they need. So just know that there may be a string attached to that one. There's always a way, but that one does have a string. Okay, let's look at love and relationships. We have, this is interesting, take a step back. The card was reversed. So this is really about getting the perspective, which we talked about when we looked at the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands was also reversed. So don't lose track of who you are and what you're trying to do. And if somebody is distracting you, this is saying, pull back again, look at the wide view of what's going on and figure out if you're still on path. So you might be too close to someone or something to really understand why it's happening or why someone's acting the way that they are. So this is the one place where it might be good to ask a friend and say, am I missing something? Why is this going on? They can keep it real with you and say, yeah, actually, you probably could have said this better. Or here's my perspective on it, take it or leave it. So I see this as a circle of friends spilling the tea and talking about things. So they're going to be able to keep it real with you and tell you if you are missing something. Okay, so that's the one point. Friends and loved ones that you truly trust, say, just be honest with me. What did I miss here? What am I missing? And be ready for what they have to say, because I do feel like they're going to tell you what you need to hear. Okay. With respect to relationships, let's take a quick look at if you're looking for love, in love, or could care less. So if you're looking for love, not a bad month at all, actually. There's a lot of opportunities. And I feel like at least one of those will stick around for a while, okay? So we have this being your energy and how you're presenting, and we see that there might already be someone that's in your life or that it's gonna kind of end up sticking around. I want you to make sure that they are ready and willing to give what you need them to give, and also that you can do the same. Justice is about the balance. It's also about availability. We didn't get a devil card here or anything, but Three of Cups is very casual. So you could make an assumption if you've met someone that they're also dating other people. There's no exclusivity with this at all. It's the antithesis of exclusivity. I feel like you're going to have some chemistry with new people if you're looking for love. And the person that came through is Queen of Pentacles reversed. This person is very alluring, but they will probably, as the relationship develops, want more of your time and energy. This is a needier type of energy. So just make sure. Some people want to be wanted. So if you're looking for that, you're manifesting it. If you've been looking for that, this is also you though. So because it's a nice grounded, earthy energy. So I would say for you, one of the things that I want you to think about is, what are you doing in your own life to kind of create some of the things that you're looking for? Are you finding success and independence? Are you finding fulfillment? Get all of that in order so that you're not looking for it solely in the other person. All right. If you're in love this month, planning is really important. The two of you can focus on future plans, which isn't something we've been able to do much of, but it's starting to get a little bit easier depending on the country. Some are still kind of closing down, some are expanding, but I still think it's good to make plans for the distant future too, 5 and 10 years from now. What are we trying to do? I definitely see for some of you, this big shift of kind of like, I like to see knights and queens or kings and queens or knights and pages. When I see a page and a queen, I'm seeing, to me, a big difference between maturity or experience. This could also indicate that for those of you that might have children or someone else in your life, they're kind of taking center field. All the focus is going to someone else. Literally, we see the camera focusing. So someone younger in your life right now, it could be a child, it could be a nephew. There's a third party that's kind of coming in and taking the focus from the two of you. So it's really about refocusing on the two of you. Also, the question mark that I talked about. Do you need to reignite the spark? Remember, intimacy is not just sex. It can also just be doing things together and enjoying that time together, making sure that the other person's really enjoying what you're doing. Yeah, getting on the same mental page, having intimacy, and answering the question, do I still feel that same connection with you? And if not, what are we going to do about it? So rekindling the flame. If there is a third party involved and it's not someone in your family, it's actually like a lover or something like that, some of you may be trending towards this. But I definitely see an outside influence that's affecting current relationships. If you're looking not for love, but for growth and expansion, fantastic. The Three of Cups is actually your friend. And this is a good month to demand a little bit more from others too. So if you're negotiating a contract wages or trying to price something, don't undersell yourself. Don't sell yourself short. Okay. Good time for you to really make a splash too. Be seen. You may still have people that are interested in you, that hit on you or make a pass at you or just express interest, even if you're not. Partly because you're completely free of caring this is coming in. Okay. Generally speaking, pretty good. Just take a step back and get real with your expectations, with the big view. Maybe ask someone for feedback too, and I think you'll be all right. And then finally, in Destiny, we have Guardian of the Soul family. I was talking about this yesterday. I didn't see it for you, but like I said, a lot of times for signs that I read back to back, it might even make sense to listen to the Sagittarius reading. But for you, Capricorn, with the Guardian of the Soul family, this is really kind of speaking more of you. You may have some people in your life that are stepping up and wanting something from you, because this was a sort of needy energy, but it could be because someone looks up to you, that sort of puts you on a pedestal. And this month, you are there to kind of give them some guidance. You might find yourself in that leadership position. The Guardian of the Soul family can also be a guide or someone on the other side, an ancestor that's coming through to guide you, to help you. I don't necessarily see this one so much as romantic as it is mentorship or guidance, even though we see the two embracing. There's a lot of different types of embrace, just like you would, hug a parent or hug a pet. It's sort of like that kind of love is coming through for me, unconditional, just very kind and sort of mentorship type love. So when you meditate this month, really focus on connecting with, we have many guides, by the way. Sometimes I get a question, how can I connect to my guide? You have guides. Most of us have plural. So this would be a chance to maybe meet one of the older guides or one of the more senior guardians that's around you to help give you answers, and realize that that's not always going to be a physical or visual connection to them. You could feel the presence. You could just get an image. You could find an epiphany, an idea, an understanding when you're connecting with that guide. So set an intention to find the highest, oldest, holiest guide that's kind of out there for you. And I feel like they'll have some messages for you. Okay, let's quickly review, and then we're going to go a little bit deeper into the soul path. And this month for you, I'd really like to look at sort of like the angel of transition, look at what's going on for change for you. I'd like to see how we could help you expand more with the world energy, and then we'll do a wild card as well. At the very end, if I haven't answered any of your questions yet, then stick around, because I'll pull an extra card and answer one of your silent questions as well. And hopefully that'll give you the guidance that you need. So let's quickly review. If you just joined, great. If you haven't, if you've been here all along, just stick around, because I often get additional messages and insight during this portion. All right, so your spirit totem this month is the waterfall, which we saw here. That was so exciting that it actually came through. And it has the energy of momentum, release, renewal, and both the creation and destruction energy that we saw with Azrael here, the phoenix rising from the ashes. We see the phoenix there right on his chest. You may feel like you've hit a plateau, but you're closer than you think to your goal. And, we actually see a series of plateaus. There's one here, then you go and then a little fall. There's one here, then there's another one here. So realize that life is like that. We have these sort of punctuated moments, but then we have to kind of like live every day for a while. We can't be on that high forever, or just it's not sustainable, right? It would go to your head. You wouldn't be able to ground yourself. Once momentum builds, things will get easier and move faster. This is part of the reason that you want to really prepare, so that you can course correct as needed, so that you can really take advantage of an opportunity when it comes to you. If you've been holding on to something, you're probably not going to be able to do that anymore. You're going to need a way to get that sort of energy out of your mind and body right now. Creativity, it's a really good month for you creatively. And it could come through in punctuated ebbs and flows. I want you to strike when the iron's hot. We see this person really focusing on that, and that's a great message for those of you that are feeling the creative flow. Okay. Don't edit or mute what's coming through. You are a channel ultimately, right? There'll be plenty of time later. You can always solicit feedback as needed, but don't let this sort of like get in the way of you doing what you need to do. Get it all out on paper, or talk about it, and then solicit feedback, and then take that with a grain of salt. Because remember, you've got the vision, as we see with that card at the center. If others attempt to hold you back, it's time to let them go and focus on movement and growth. By all means, yes, yes, yes. Waterfalls are both destructive and creative. Yes, they are. That's why Azrael came through, to show us that energy of death and rebirth that's coming through for you. And like Judgment, a simple decision or thought can rearrange your destiny. It's the one card that's kind of missing here. We got Justice, but we really need Judgment to get us closer to the world. You are unstoppable, but only if you believe it. Just like magic and thoughts and alchemic sort of energy works, it has to have an element of belief, otherwise it's wasted. Surrender to the divine flow, and you're gonna see a lot of abundance. And we did get a page here. We do have a queen here. They're both pentacles. I feel pretty good about it for you. So we'll look more at the expansion energy of the world in just a minute, but anyway, some good stuff. All right, I saw this sort of rushing in a task and kind of looked messy. It looked like you were moving too quickly. So don't take messy shortcuts, like I said here. Take some time while you're working through anything in your life, relationship, health, work, to pick up the pieces as you're moving so that there's not this big cleanup task that you have to deal with later. Especially financially speaking, I think that you want to make sure that you're not getting in over your head. I also saw someone falling asleep at the wheel or falling asleep at work. If you notice someone that's not doing their fair share, that needs to be brought to someone's attention. You need to address it. If you're the one that's bored or disengaged, then you owe it to yourself and to others, not just for safety, but just for sanity, to find a way to move on, because I do think people are going to start to notice. It doesn't have to happen overnight. You can take 1, 2, 5 years, whatever, but it feels like that's in the future for you. Take pride in who you are and what you do. It's the first step towards receiving abundance. More self-worth equals more net worth. Express yourself. This is the second part of it. This would be the night energy, so that others know what you want and can also pick up on that newfound understanding that you have of yourself, and then just let it go. It's all about release and flow this month. We have the Hunter here encouraging you to pick a direction and stick with it. But we can combine the Hunter with the Page here, which is saying there's going to be moments of getting macro and sort of like wide angle so that you can see really close up and also not lose track of what's going on. As long as you kind of go between the two, you're going to be okay. This card also tells you to face your fears, to hunt them down, to get rid of that. Go to the source of it so that you can be strong. It's a really nice divine masculine energy there, so you can do this. 2 of Wands at the center. Keep track of what you are trying to do, who you are, where you're going. And like I said, go between close up and wide angle. We see the same thing here. This is also about conveying what's in your head to others. 8 of Wands, 8 of Cups. You're so lucky to get both. You're going to have a decision perhaps between something that happens all the time and something that happens once in a blue moon. I think you want to embrace the once in a blue moon thing. Cycles, ending and beginning. I feel like you're already on the other side of the waterfall now, but for some of you, there's this desire maybe to go back. So what is it that's making you want to keep that door open rather than focus on the abundance that's coming through here? We have the Knight of Swords, speaking, acting, taking some sort of a clear, definitive action towards making something happen. Also trying to get rid of negativity, cutting through that, and basically telling people I don't have time for that. You've got to stay positive. You've got to speak and think positively. Really positive energy here with the Ace of Wands, ideas, new sort of invigoration in your energy. It's a really great card for relationships. It shows a physical spark between the two of you. Looking also at the 3 of Cups with relationships, you might have something that's just really physical, but there's no sort of long-term potential. I think some of you are thinking about that. Is this just for now? Is this something bigger? And there's a decision here that's going to be made by the end of the month in respect to that. A lot of investment for you on yourself. There also might be someone in your life that's tugging at you, because that Queen, she's getting a lot of attention there. So be mindful of how much you're giving and how often. Make a decision. Good things are ahead. Looking at your health, you're gently rebuilding and getting stronger, and it takes one step at a time. Some days are easier than others, but you just want to keep walking down that path, okay? When we look at wealth, I really like that we see transition and movement. It's a very positive Azrael card. It's not scary. We actually see the Phoenix on him, showing that you can come back from whatever setbacks or perceived setbacks you've experienced. And in fact, you should be expanding in general. So if there's something in your career path that's not allowing for that expansion, Azrael's coming through and saying, come on, there's a better way. There's a better way. All right. And in general, when it comes to relationships, take a step back, look at what you're doing, look at what others are doing, try to stay objective. You can get some feedback from others. We see them here spilling the tea, talking to you, and that's going to help you out. And then finally, when it comes to your destiny, it feels like you're meeting maybe a senior guide or someone who hasn't spoken up as much in your sort of spiritual side here, and they're ready to help. Could be on the planet, could be in the ethers here. But either way, I feel like you have some unexpected support. So now let's go a little deeper into the soul path. I want to look at, oh yeah, well, there's a couple things I'd like to look at, but I want to go to the justice card here. I want to see what's going on with the decision. Then let's look at the change and transition. I think the two are the same because justice and Azrael, it's the same sort of thing. So what's the choice? What's the change? What do we need to know about the two that will help you out? First card was sticking to me, so let's look. 3 of Wands. I love this. This is saying that not only are you on the right path and the right direction with respect to the change that you need or want to make, but that the minute you start to commit to it, you're going to see some rapid feedback that this is the right thing. 3 of Wands shows that almost immediately there's some sense of validation. Yeah, I like that idea. Or, oh, I know someone you can talk to. Whatever. It's going to happen quicker than you think. I also like that she's right there on the shoreline, right by that ship that's coming in, welcoming the people. And we can actually see kind of like a winged bodice there on the front. Again, the sort of phoenix energy that we were seeing in Azrael. So this is a good change. And some other people in your life may be seeking that same sort of change. So I feel like things are going to look really good for you. This is also 3, so the next 3 months, the next quarter of the year, we see a lot of abundance. And I love how in this particular deck, all the Wands cards, kind of like cherry blossoms or whatever, but you can see the growth. They're not just dead logs or sticks or anything. We can actually see these are growing. So abundance, change, movement, it's a good thing. Don't be afraid of it. And you're going to see a period of growth over the next 3 months or so. I like it a lot. Okay. The other thing here with this is that it's a return on your vision because the 2 of Wands comes first. You see it, and then it actually starts to materialize. So as long as you don't give up on the vision, then it will come through. Again, believing is seeing, not the other way around. If you believe and you feel it, it starts to come in, then you see it. All right. Let's focus now on expansion, the world card. I want to see it upright for you. So let's see how we can make the world card come through easier for you. Page of Cups. This is great. So with the Page of Cups, this is also a very receptive card. We see this sort of lotus blossom, and basically the Cups in general is a receptive energy, but this is a very receptive card. So are you ready? Are you ready to receive? Is really this. And we have 2 pages here. This one was about letting other people see your point of view, also seeing maybe what's right in front of you, maybe needing to look at it from a different angle. And this one is just being at peace with it and saying, yeah, I deserve this. Yeah, I'm ready for this. And accepting, right? Because you as a page would say, yes, I can receive what you're giving, what you're offering. So there's an offering, but you have to be ready to receive it. I also love lotus blossoms, or like lilies, water lilies, because they have to go through the muck, the dirt, the grime at the bottom of the ocean, or not the ocean, a pond, in order to kind of come up and blossom. They're persistent, they're perseverant, and through all of that garbage, which I saw earlier, there's something really nice at the other end of the rainbow. And just clean it up this month. That's one thing that I saw in the vision, was cleaning up the trash behind you. I forgot to say that when I was pulling the cards earlier. So this is what's on the other end of the cleanup. It's well worth it. Okay. So there you go. Let's pull a wild card and see what additional messages might be relevant to your sign that I haven't yet touched upon. Okay, interesting. We have King of Pentacles. He's also reversed. 2 strong energies for you. So we have partner cards here. Okay. So for some of you, the partnership that you've been looking for, it's coming through. It doesn't have to be love. It could be business. It could be friendship. But I see a partner. The only thing that I would say is this is a lot. You guys are both, there's a lot of energy, and you both are going to be working a lot with each other, asking a lot of each other. Also for you, this is kind of like looking at anything you need to be focusing on. It is a good time to focus on self-improvement, development, nurturing yourself. I look at a sort of benevolent version of the reversed King, Queen of Pentacles usually with that when I'm looking at you. If I look at other people, I can see sort of the negative, but for you, I would say It's about seeing your best, seeing your worth, being able to do what you need to do to be happy and to be healthy. If you do that, we could actually look at an unusual, unconventional view of the Queen of Pentacles reverse, which is she's doing the same thing. She's focused on herself, her well-being. So you're calling in the partner that the work that you're doing on yourself, you're calling in from the other person. Always there's a caution with people in your life that are taking too much or not perceptive or reciprocating what you're doing, that this is not a good energy to be around. But for yourself, I think it's good. You all care enough to show up here and listen and integrate. So I read it a little differently in this setting, which is that do the work on yourself. And if you're trying to call someone in, they'll come in because you've already accomplished that which you were originally seeking in someone else. Okay. So we did get some love energy here. And listen, I mean, it's a nice story as you look at the 3 cards. This is manifestation coming true. This is, oh my God, it's here. Do I accept it? Do I believe it? Yes, you believe it. And then this is abundance, fertility in a big way. If you're looking for a money card, we didn't have to look very hard for you, Capricorn. I usually don't have to either with you, but you definitely have the capacity to bring it in. This is you. You're totally capable of this, okay? So good stuff for you. We're going to do an extra card in about 2 or 3 minutes. So be thinking of something else that I haven't touched upon. This is going to be a silent question. You don't have to ask it. And let's just kind of get set up for the meditation here. Before I do the meditation, I always like to just quickly remind you of where else you can follow me if you like what you see here. So my social media handles on most platforms are Nicholas Ashbaugh, at Nicholas Ashbaugh. I use story reminders on Facebook and Instagram, also YouTube, so you know what I'm doing. And I will tweet out reminders of what I'm going to be reading that day as well. I have a slightly different handle on Twitter. It's @Ashbaugh. And you can follow the link in my pinned comment because I actually had a link to my social media handles on that on my website. And my website is just that, nicholasashbaugh.com. If for some reason you can't see the pinned link. And finally, if you've watched this much and you haven't hit the thumbs up, please do it. That would help a lot. And if you enjoyed this and it's your first time here, hit the subscribe button. That helps a lot too. Okay, we'll talk about some other things that you can do later, but let's get into the meditation because I also want to answer your question afterwards. So as I look at everything in front of me, we got to use the energy of the waterfall. It came through in my vision. It came through here. So I kind of like this end of the waterfall because it's not scary. So let's imagine that you've already come through that pivotal moment of change, of movement, and you're right here and you're ready to receive that sort of push of energy. What I want you to do is combine. Imagine you're the hunter at the bottom of this waterfall and you want to envision where you want to go. You can be in a boat, so it's not scary, but this is going to move you forward faster towards your target. So that's our kind of visual, and I'm going to set it up here in just a second, but I wanted to use the cards to help you out. Okay, so imagine that you are at the base of this waterfall. It's no longer dangerous. You're starting to go now down these little tiny, they're not quite rapids, but let's imagine maybe that they are. You can manage this. They're not really deep, but this is going to move you faster towards where you need to go next. So close your eyes and imagine yourself in a boat that's capable of carrying you. And if you want someone that's leading that boat so you don't have to worry and you can just surrender to the meditation, you can imagine that that hunter is right there. He's going to lead you through it. He's protecting you and he's very strong and capable. So we got a good leader here and you're going to move through these little, each one of these is actually going to move you a little faster. Okay. So see the destination in the future, close your eyes and just listen to the sound of water behind you. It's so loud actually that if there were any persistent thoughts in your head, the white noise is going to move them out. All you have now is this sort of blue energy, the blue of the water beneath you, the blue of the sky above you. And you're holding on for a second and the boat person here is also holding on. The hunter is holding you for a second and saying, look at where you need to go because we're going to start to move really fast. Feel the water for a second, feel the movement, feel the energy of it. Take a deep breath and smell the fresh air around you. See the sun shining down, leading you toward the path that you want to go towards. And then see in the distance, just like the Three of Wands, who it is that's waiting for you, what it is that's waiting for you. See this person, see that boat, see that future. And now imagine that you're going to get there faster than you ever imagined. Close your eyes, relax, and allow yourself to move as I play the singing bowl. And then we'll look at your final card and final question. Take a deep breath. Feel the boat is starting to ease into a normal speed. If you were a little nervous as you were going through those rapids, open your eyes, see that you're safe, and look at the calm waters in front of you and look at the beautiful energy of whatever it was that you were trying to create. See it in front of you. It could be a new partner, it can be a new opportunity, it could be a final destination, a new house, whatever. It's right there, and you're ready to step off onto the shore and receive. Okay? There you go. All right, let's take a look now at the final question that some of you may have for me this month. You don't need to type it, you just need to think it. I'm going to read it as best I can as a yes and no, and then I'm going to also give you some additional shades of meaning as we look at it. So think about what it is that you need some additional guidance on. And I'm going to tune into the answer for you. Queen of Wands, it's a yes. It's a emphatic yes with the Queen of Wands. As I've said many times, she's the one that can make anything happen, even when others don't think she can make it happen. So there's a sense of magic and power with the Queen of Wands. And she is going to be marching to the beat of her own drum. So for some of you, that is going to require a sense of going off onto your own path. Occasionally, maybe not having other people understand what you're doing initially, but ultimately, it's absolutely connected to your intuition and to your power. Sometimes with the Queen of Wands, I like that we kind of see her in the, you're not seeing like lush green grass, because normally it would be in a desert or a very dry area. So sometimes when you take that step towards whatever it is, you're not going to see all of the sort of signals initially that this is okay. But what we saw here with the Three of Wands is it should start to happen within the next 3 months or so, if there's some sort of big shift. But don't lose faith if initially it takes a little bit longer than you expect. The whole message this month was the waterfall. So some of you may be more up on the hill, even though I was trying to bring you down here. So if you are up at the top of this, then just trust that once the change happens, it's a breakthrough and it breaks pretty fast. Really no negative connotations with this card because she's upright. We have this sort of feline energy in the background, which shows magic and instinct and like high priestess. And then again, I like that she's taking an active stance. We're not seeing her sort of sitting on a throne. She's walking, she's working. And she has the sun working with her as well. It's a very solar energy here. So this is a combination of divine feminine and divine masculine. So you absolutely can do this if you want to. And it almost feels like, I didn't even notice that she has cat ears here. So they definitely played around a little bit with the feline energy with this. Trust your instincts. They're leading you in the right direction. Okay. So very, very positive. It is also the boss card, lest I forget to say that. You should be the one that is leading the charge. You should have an active seat at the table. You should be the boss at this table. And you should be comfortable in that position. So definitely standing up for yourself, definitely taking an active role and being strong and powerful right around her solar plexus. All right, good card for you. And it's a yes for sure. Okay, I hope that helped. And let's quickly wrap up here with a couple of other notes. Like I said, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do it. You can only do it once per video. You can only subscribe once in general. But if you haven't done it, oddly enough, there's like 70% of the people that watch don't. It doesn't cost anything. I think because they use the word subscribe, you think that there's some sort of a cost. It's free. But it helps me see how many people are out there. It's like if you're in a concert and people put up their phones and put on the lights. It just helps me know that there's life out there. So please consider subscribing if you haven't. Later, if you watch this on replay, you can hit the applaud button between like and share. You can join if you like what you've seen, and you can get some additional Q&A perks and emojis. Thank you for everybody who's already done a super chat or super sticker. You guys are amazing, and I do see all of that later. Finally, if you would like to purchase my book, you can do that. It is science fiction and fantasy, and it's a little bit of a read. So this isn't for everyone, but if you like books like Lord of the Ring or Dune, check it out. It's available online at most major retailers. You can look at my website for information. Otherwise, like I said, feel free to follow me on social media, particularly on Instagram, where I post a bunch of stories and pictures and walks with Apollo and other things. Sometimes I go live. Maybe every couple of months I'll do a fireside chat there. So definitely should check that one out if you haven't. And Twitter is great if you just need the link for today's video. Okay. Thank you everybody for showing up. Thanks to Maria for the help with moderation. Thanks to all of my channel members and to all the new folks that joined. I hope you come back. I will be live again this weekend on Sunday and Monday. We'll be wrapping up all the signs for June. So I'll be doing Aquarius on Sunday, same time, 9 a.m. Pacific. I'll be doing Pisces on Monday. And then next week, I have 2 very special readings. On Thursday, I'm going to be doing a reading dedicated to retrograde. It's a few days before the retrograde, but good because we always need that. I really want to sort of look at how we can thrive in the retrograde. I'll be answering some questions that were already given to me by channel members and by Patreon supporters. And then I'm going to do an end of month collective on Sunday the 30th, where we'll just kind of take a quick temperature and a pulse for what's going on for everybody. And I usually come up with a theme or an idea for those a day before. So it's a good reason to follow me so you know when it's coming and that you don't miss out on something. Thank you everybody so much. Have a great day. Be kind to yourself. Have a great weekend ahead if you're watching this live. And I appreciate you. Thanks. Bye-bye.